we are doing COVID tests for all the staff of the school here. COVID is still a problem. It is still happening in our islands. And what we are trying to do is through providing free COVID testing to the teachers and the staff of the school, they can make sure that they are not infected right now, so the school can stay open.
The type of test that we're doing here is a rapid antigen test, and the two types of tests that we're doing are the Abbott Binax Now, that will give you results in 15 minutes, and also the BD Veritor. So it's a lateral flow immunoassay test that recognizes the antigens of the COVID virus.
When initially approached to partner and do COVID testing at Kamaile, my first reaction is, let's do it. We have the flexibility, we have the autonomy as a charter school, but the real decision was about what's right for our school community to keep our kids and staff safe.
I think the PAAC program and the partnership that we have between Kamaile and PAAC is really strong, and I, for one, personally want to continue to be able to be tested. I want to know that I have that safety, and I want to go into next year with more assurances that things will be normal than I went into this previous school year with, and testing is one really good way to make sure that that happens.
It's a preventative measure. So we can come, we can gauge how are we doing in our own communities, with our own families, if we're keeping safe. And it's a good way to monitor. That's why I do it every week, and this is my third time.
The first week that we as secondary teachers were allowed to get tested, I signed up to get tested just because I want to have the peace of mind for my own students and my family. And so for me, it is really important to know that every week I'm coming home and I'm being safe for my parents as well.
I think this testing is wonderful and great. It keeps us on track with what's going on with the pandemic, and it also gives me check and peace of mind to know weekly that I am okay. I took my vaccine and everything, but it's also good to have this, and I'm so grateful that it's here, and it's right here at work.
We also do some studies in our laboratory in Jobson Medical School, where we have been studying how people that had COVID before, how they are developing immunity to the disease, and if they have a risk of getting it again or not. But we also have been studying different populations, how they develop immunity after they have been vaccinating. So we have been doing multiple studies about COVID. So I think it's our job as researchers on this project to teach people about the testing, about the vaccines, about how these can help you, but also help your family, your community, and our islands.
I think one of the things that's been really beneficial about the PAAC program being at school and just the general partnership that we have between education and public health is that, one, we're allowed to teach our students this cool new thing that taking care of yourself and taking care of the people around you that you care for is really important. That partnership cultivates a sense of security and safety here on campus.
In general, I've been very thankful for the strong relationship between public health officials and the schools. It's been really important that we have accurate data during a pandemic so we can make the decisions at our school level. This type of data around COVID testing for our staff is just one more example. This data helps us to make decisions so that we can keep our kids safe and focus on learning, and our staff feels comfortable so we can focus on learning.
I can guarantee to you that the most common concern people have when they come for the testing is gonna hurt? Do I gonna feel bad about it? And I'm not gonna lie to you, it doesn't feel comfortable, right? So the swab goes in your nose and has to touch all the walls inside your nose. But what gives you is the certainty that you are not infected right now. So I think it's a really small price that you pay.
Testing would be, a lot of people don't want that thing being shoved up their nose. But I think the best thing about this program is you have the opportunity to do it yourself, with having that professional there, making sure that you're doing it correctly.
Well, one concern that I've heard about the COVID testing is that whether or not the test results are valid or true. And another thing about getting the shot, how much information are being provided to our families and the community, because it's very vague at times with social media, what you learn from friends and family. With this program, it gives you more insight and information about what's going on.
People are definitely concerned about the vaccinations. I know there's a lot of conflicting evidence out there on the internet, you hear on the news and stuff.
About the vaccine, I have in fact talked with different people in the islands, and there are people that are afraid of vaccine. the main concern that I heard from people is, can I trust this vaccine? It was developed so fast.
So the concerns I've been hearing lately in the community and even sometimes among family members is they didn't realize that it's not the actual COVID virus that's being injected into you. And so I think that a lot of them are, listening to conspiracy theories. Sometimes they're just not educated, or, for whatever reason, people are fearful that it may affect them in some way. I've had colleagues say, oh, I got sick, I have shortness of breath now. I cannot judge people for why they don't take it, but I like to educate them about it.
I think it's really interesting that there is a partnership between education and public health, and I actually would like to see it being explored more. I think there's a lot of opportunity for even the students to be involved in the research aspect, whether it's for them to have the opportunity to talk to researchers, to observe the process, or even participate in the study themselves. I think it would make them feel much more included and also like they were able to make a difference now and in the future.
My connection to this community is that I'm a proud resident of the Waianae community, born and raised, still live in this community. So as you know, COVID rates in the state of Hawaii have been recently high and it's been rising. But unfortunately on the Waianae coast, COVID-19 is a lot higher than the state average. And that's very unfortunate, but we have to realize that we have a lot of multi-generational families out on this side. Also, my primary role through the school-based health centers for the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center has been really empowering the youth. And if you think about it, they're really the next generation of the community. And if we can start building that leaders, we can start making generational changes for the health of them. And that starts with really identifying health issues that impact their generation and helping them to build health services that can really support services that's created and made for them.
I do believe more schools should participate in this program because I think, unfortunately, a lot of people think that we are safe already. A lot of people think that, okay, we should go back to normal right now. And unfortunately, I don't think that's true. COVID is still around. We still have a good proportion of our population that haven't been vaccinated yet. And also one thing that a lot of people unfortunately don't think is that the vaccine is not an absolutely no, right? You still can get COVID. So if more schools could get involved in this project, I think it would be great.
First things first, it's free. Yeah, COVID testing is not cheap. So the fact that our community is having the opportunity to take these COVID tests to obviously, make our bubble safe and overall the community.
I think Kamaile is setting a really good example for not only the community in Waianae, but also school communities across the island. I think programs like this should be increased. I think having testing programs like this, in addition to free vaccination clinics, is really going to be able to help us to stop the pandemic at a faster rate and get all our kids back in school in person.
Yes, I would highly recommend this testing for other schools, like all over the state, and at least we'll be able to gauge how we're doing, in our own families, in our own community, and what's the numbers? Are we doing our part here in Waianae? So I really highly recommend that schools participate in this.
I think it creates a sense of safety and security amongst staff members and community members. For me personally, knowing every week that I can come to work and get a test on top of being vaccinated just makes me feel really comfortable being around my students and then also going home and not worrying about taking anything back to my family.
I do recommend this program for other schools, mostly because we've grown a really close relationship with Kamaile, and I think that's the most important part, is that if we have great relationships building with schools, that's building relationships with the community. And when we can do that, we can get trust out of the community to make sure that we can keep them safe. This is exactly what we're doing with this program, and we want to make sure that we can offer this to other schools also.
Just some final thoughts. Again, I just want to mahalo our partners, PAAC, the Department of Health, Waianae Coast Comprehensive Health Center, for their continued support. This is our school, it's our responsibility, it's our community, and we do the work together. This pilot COVID testing project here at Kamaile is an example of that. We collaborated to find solutions to make things better, which is our aim through this pandemic. So just again, mahalo to our partners. We're so thankful, and this is just the beginning, right? We're going to continue to partner as we go along, but I'm hoping that the rest of the larger school community around the state can learn from the work that we've done here to replicate this across Hawaii so that all of our kids can be safe and all of our staff can be safe.